Yeah, Whitney, that is good advice. Here's I can tell you, Whitney, as someone who I hate PvP, here's what I have, the mindset that I have. I go into every single match, usually with a free loadout. Um, with the understanding that I'm not risking anything by taking a free loadout. The vast majority of quests that you get are going to be objective quests. So it'll be things like go to X location. Here, I'll open up my logbook. So, go to search a certain container, destroy an object, obtain a vault. Now, these ones, and then what we left behind, that's just quest updates. Now, when it's something like this, where you need to bring something back and it's a single object, I need to obtain a surveyor vault. So that means I have to kill a surveyor and then loot the surveyor. In those cases, I will go out with a looter augment, which allows me to have a safe pocket. And the safe pocket is this right here. A safe pocket allows you to put an object into that safe pocket. And then if you do die, or if you get taken out, you still go back to camp with the quest item that you wanted to get in the first place. So that's key. When you're doing a quest where you have to bring an object back, go out with something that has a safe pocket. Now, you still run the risk of being taken out before you get to the quest objective and then you lose that augment. That is a risk, but it's a very low risk because when you go out in a free loadout, every single time you come back from a free loadout, if you extract and you have a free loadout on you, you can come back and trade it at Lance for one of these right here. So you see how that has a combat. I could do a combat, a looting, or a tactical Mark 1. And on the bottom right, it says, what does it say he requires for purchase? A free loadout augment. So what that means is if you go out with a free loadout and you extract out successfully, you can come back to him and trade him your free loadout for one of these one of these ones. I have a bunch of those banked. So if you go over to my augments, you'll notice I have like a whole bunch of these looters. I've got like 5 looter augments. So that's because I've traded a bunch of free loadouts in exchange for that. So all of these green ones are freebies that I have gotten in exchange for successfully extracting with a free loadout, and then you trade those into this. So then if I know that I'm going out, like, to do a certain thing, I'm gonna be like, okay, so here's the other thing too. Like, if I need, like, if I'm not doing quests and I just want to go out and do a loot run, I'm gonna grab one of these looter augments, because notice how those blue boxes, it gives me a bunch of extra looting space. So then I know that I'm going out to do a loot run. So I go out and fill a whole bunch of stuff in my inventory, and then I just run back to the nearest hatch. I can usually do a loot run extract in like 5 minutes, because you literally zone in, pick the nearest building, run to it, grab a bunch of shit, fill up your inventory, run to the nearest hatch, and get out. Or if you have a hatch key, you can just go straight to not an elevator, excuse me. Go to the elevator and extract out. If you have a hatch key, then you can just go out, loot, use your hatch key, and get back. So, I mean, there are a ton of ways to mitigate risk. Like I said, I hate PvP, and I am genuinely enjoying this game. There are times when you're going to get popped by some sweaty who is just a little Cheeto-dusted finger twat living in their mom's basement, fapping to a waifu poster, who gets their lulz from shooting people in the back. But honestly, it's been pretty rare in my experience. Especially if you're using a mic. If you're not afraid to use a mic. And the other thing about this game is if you don't like your voice and you're afraid to use your real voice, the game has mods that augments your voice for you. So you can go in here, because and I think Transcend would be okay with me saying this, because she has said this on our streams before. She doesn't like the sound of her own voice. she likes to use the mods. And if you've heard me, I've played with Allie on stream multiple times. If you've heard us played in Discord, she has an Australian accent. But in the game, she uses one of the voice mods, so that she has like a very neutral, sort of like British sounding um, voice. But you can go down in here, somewhere in here. Raider voice heard by, and then you can choose what you want people to hear your voice as. So then you can select the voice that you want people to hear. So I would say that this is probably the only game I've ever played where I actually give a shit about using open mic. Because most of the time, like if you've ever played like Warzone or anything like that, like open mic, I never use open mic because people yell all sorts of really horrible shit into the mic. I have not seen that happen here, knock on wood, yet. Generally speaking, most people, if you just open up your mic and be like, "Hey guys, I'm just, you guys need help? I'm here for a quest. You're here for a quest. Let's extract together. Let's do quests together." I would argue that like 90% of the time, people have been really cool. 10% of the time, they just don't answer, or they'll shoot you in the back. But again, it's been like 10% of the time, and that's been my experience solo. However, I will say duos is a little bit more cutthroat, and trios is shoot on sight. So I would just say, if you want to play this game like I'm playing it, and I think Code Carnage is doing it this way as well. I'm aware. Thank you. Gracias. Ya lo sé. Um, or if you want to play it like Code Carnage plays it, he's also playing solo. There are examples of, I don't, I'm sure there are other streamers out there who are also playing solo. Um, so you can look at how those people are playing the game. You don't have to use open mic, by the way. There are emotes in the game, which we could show off when we go to our next run, where like you can hit the up button on the D-pad. I'm playing on PlayStation, and it'll say like friendly fire, friendly don't shoot, friendly don't shoot. So there's a multiple emotes that have like a voice attached to it, so that you can tell people, hey. And I think he even puts up his hands, maybe. I think he says friendly don't shoot. I think he does this, if I'm not mistaken. There's another one where I think it's like a thumbs up or a wave or something. So you don't have to use a mic if you don't want to, but I have found that I've actually been using open mic in this game for like the first time ever. So I say all of that to go back to, I gotta find the comment that you asked in chat. Whitney says, I wasn't going to try this game as I don't care for PvP, but I'm watching your solo streams and I think I'll check it out now. I think for the price point, for $40, it might be something where you're trying something out. You might not like it, but you know what? That's kind of like, I've said this before on stream, you're never going to know if you like chocolate ice cream until you try chocolate ice cream for the first time. You're never going to know if you like steak from a certain restaurant until you go to that restaurant and try that steak. You are never going to know until you try those things. And sometimes you have to run the risk of paying money for something that you might not necessarily like, but you might find aspects of it that you like. Oh, we got our first troll today. Freddie Rick 123 says, "Could you stop whinging on about people playing how they want and admit that you aren't good enough to fight?" I've already admitted that a million times, Freddie. I suck at PvP. That's why I don't PvP. I can't shoot to save my life. I can't shoot shit. I can't hit the side of a barn. This is a known fact. I feel like you're not paying attention. It's probably because your brain cells are so small, you just can't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. But we've talked about this a million times. I suck at PvP. That's why I don't play PvP games. I also don't like ruining other people's fun. I don't like to jump up on the table and take a big shit in the middle of the D&D table. Like, why would I want to piss all over other people's dice and ruin their fun? I'm here to play with other people, not play against other people. So for me, I'm not here to shoot people. I'm not here to be good. I'm here to see a really cool extraction game, to listen to cool science fiction soundtracks, to see really cool science fiction environments. There's some really cool cutscenes in this game. Freddy thinks I'm mad about people being better than me. Oh, Freddy. Freddy, honey. Freddy, once you get past object permanence and you start to develop your frontal lobe a little bit more, we can have an adult conversation. But until then, scurry on back to Reddit, buddy. You're the only person who thinks I'm mad. Like, you're funny, Freddy. It's all right. No, it's all good, guys. Freddy he's still developing his mental facilities. Give him time. He'll get there. He'll mature like the rest of us at some point. Go back, talk to your mom. She'll teach you how to be an adult. She'll teach you about object permanence. She'll teach you about how to count. What's up, Machi? Poppins is back. Anyway, Whitney, hopefully that answered your question. I know Vandal had given you an answer as well, but I was expanding upon that. I think this game can still have quite a bit of fun for people who don't want to do the PvP side. You just want to hang out and be chill. But it is one of those things where I think you may have to spend the money and try it out to see. Because you might not know until you actually dive in.